And the other thing is a flip side as well. A lot of parents are trying to become their children's friends, so then you have a relationship with no rules,
Yeah,
and that's
none
not
at all.
going to work
Yeah,
either.
yes.
You know?
Now we have blurred lines. We have blurred lines because it is not yours to be your child's friend.
Right,
It is yours to give parental guidance.
right,
And
right.
it is not about whether they like you or not.
right.
They know that you love them, they'll love you. But what you have to do is you have to keep guidelines and standards.
Yeah.
Because then the house becomes out of helter skelter.
Yeah.
And what happens is it carries on to life. So if they're not listening at home, it becomes a problem at school.
Absolutely.
It becomes another problem in other settings.
Absolutely.
Because they don't have the discipline that we're supposed to embed in them at an early age.
That's right.
So back to, do you have a question?
Oh, no, go.
Okay, so
Go.
back to
This
Men
is
for
good.
Change. It's been
Yeah.
4 years.
4 years, yes.
So do you have men who, over the course of that time, have come to your meetings with, okay, well, my baby was 4, and now she's 7, so now this new thing is happening.
Yes, indeed, indeed,
Is that
indeed.
the type of
Yes,
environment?
indeed.
Okay.
There's always conversation about how I handle my child in various stages of development. And because of my undergrad is in education, and part of what I do is I work for Christina School District for parents as teachers, and we go into the high schools and we do group sessions in the high schools with children that either have kids or children that are pregnant.
Right.
And we collaborate with the wellness centers and also with the counselors to keep these children on course for graduation. Then we do home visits, and so we do everything from prenatal to 3.
Ah, wow.
So we do
Yeah.
home visits
follow-up.
so that we could in turn teach the children how to be parents because they're children themselves.
Yes.
So how now do we instruct them in proper parental discipline? How do we teach them to make sure that they understand our motto? And our motto is that parents are their child's first teacher. So are you reading to your child? Are you spending tummy time with your child?
Yep.
Have you made the house accident proof and safe for the child? So there's this whole list. Have you structured a place where they play, and to let them know that they don't have the full run of the house for play zone?
Right.
That there has to be areas that you play in. So all of those pieces become very important, because then we have in those high schools children without parents.
Right.
Well, if they don't have parents, then how would they know what to do as a parent?
Right,
It's
right.
interesting. In Judges 2:10 said, there arose a nation who knew not God, nor the stories of the forefathers. And what we do is we are in this vicious cycle of losing generation,
Right.
because nobody is rehearsing the story.
Right, right. That is so true. And so important. And some of this was lost, I think, in transition. But I was watching the very first episode of Roots yesterday.
Wow.
And what did they do? They had a segment in the program where they took all of the young boys away.
Oh, yeah.
They put the hoods over them, and they escorted them out of the village, away from the women and the younger children, and they had manhood training. And that was just so powerful to watch that. And then we come and we talk tonight at home. I think that this is a message for us to stop criticizing the young people and the young men, the young ladies, but in particular criticizing the young men on their behavior, and provide them with a model to follow, because the model, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's really good.
And just tap in. If you need some help, that's fine. None of us are perfect. Tap in. You got a great opportunity and organization available to help with that.
So about how many participants do you have? And I think I'm scared to, just 1 second.
Go ahead.
I want to talk to Keisha and Troy right now because I told Troy in the control room that I was going to play a different DVD. We're just going to keep going with this, okay? Because we weren't sure how much time we would have tonight
Okay,
and if we would run out of stuff. So clearly we're not going to run out of
Okay,
stuff.
Not at all.
So back to the Christina Cole School District program. About how many participants do you have? Do you know?
In this, wow. Okay, we had a conference at the end of the year, so we celebrate the young people with a big conference at the end of the year, and we had over 160 students because we're at all of the schools,
Right.
and so on any given day, I might see anywhere from 5 to 10 in a session, but that might be 6 different schools,
Right.
and it's like 46 educators that are part of Parents for Teachers, and so it's a great program. But what I found out is that children like the consistency of a face. So we did some. We tried some things with the staff.
Yeah.
So we did some every other week. So you go here like Dappy. Okay, instead of going every Monday, you go every other week. Well, what happened was every other week when I would go, they would be looking for the person who was there last week.
Right.
Because children get accustomed
Yeah.
to a face, watch this, and they draw to a personality that they feel comfortable
Yeah, they
with.
do.
Yeah.
And love for children is such a big deal
Yeah.
because sometimes they don't get it at home.
You're right.
So they come looking for it.
You're right,
Yeah.
and that is so true. I was as you were talking and I was listening, it brought to mind our Mr. Pritchett. You know,
Okay.
Mr. Pritchett has been in education here in Delaware for over 40 years, I'm sure, and thousands of students have run through his care, and everybody sees him. Mr. Pritchett, myself included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen Mr. Pritchett in years, and when I finally saw him, Mr. Pritchett, you know, because he never took his hand off of us.
There you go.
Never took his hand off of us, and he's still doing great work in the community. Shout out to Mr. Pritchett. But yeah, you brought that back to me and made it real for me because it's so important, man. That face, and that's so true.
Yeah, they are connected to who cares.
Yes, and they know the difference.
They know the difference, and especially like babies.
Ooh.
You can't fool a baby.
No, you cannot. No. They will let you know if you're not right.
A baby know who loves them. They feel the
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yes.
They feel the warmth.
Yeah.
They feel, the chi, for lack of a better word.
Right.
And they just lock in. And
Yes.
I'm a baby lover. My wife,
Right.
they tease me all the time. Say, you don't like babies. That's
But you know,
I love babies.
yeah, and I don't want to interrupt, but they have that unadulterated spirit of discernment.
Yes.
And maybe that's why the Bible says that we need to become as little children.
Indeed.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like a blank canvas. And yeah, they'll tell you the truth.
they'll tell
They'll
the
let you know.
Yeah, they do.
You ain't right, they ain't going to let you know.
So back to the consistency and
Yes,
everything.
indeed.
I had a little story.
Please.
My dad was in the Air Force, so we didn't travel. We traveled a lot, and we didn't live in one place consistently. And one of the longest places we lived was Los Angeles, California. We were there for 3 years, which when you're 10, that's your life, you know. So
Yeah.
I had a teacher there who was wonderful. Her name was Lynn Anderson, and she was just there all the time. It didn't matter. I was thankful that I had her in some capacity 4th through 6th grade for various things. Flash forward to about 2 years ago, I sent an email to the school. I was a former student. I'm looking for Miss Anderson. They're like, we don't know where she is.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, okay, fine. So last year I sent another email. I'm still the same former student. I'm still looking for Miss Anderson. So someone recognized it and said, oh, Miss Anderson, she retired, but she comes back every once in a while. So the next time she comes by, I'll give her your message.
Oh.
So they gave her my message and she emailed me.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's
And
great.
I told her, I'm like, you gave me my first blank book because
Yes.
I didn't know hardbound books could
Yes.
have blank pages.
Yes.
So you gave me my first blank book that I still have to this day, and I'm like, this is like a world for me. I can do whatever I want with this.
Wow.
And I just thanked her, you know,
Yeah.
because she was consistent. She was always there. I did get plenty of love from home, but it meant something else to go to a place where I was new. Doesn't matter, you're always in the Air Force, you're always the new kid, and get that same feeling.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have a similar one
Let's
of
go,
those.
let's go.
My 5th grade teacher, Mr. Donald Hackney, who has been such an inspiration in my life, and a kid in 5th grade, you know, you're looking up to somebody. And in elementary school now, as you know, there is such a lack of men.
Yeah, true.
It's hard to find men in elementary school. To this very day, we're best friends.
Yeah.
And I mentioned him in my book,
Right.
of how much he has been such an inspiration. And I went into education because of him.
And he was your 5th grade teacher?
He's my 5th grade teacher.
That is so
Yeah,
cool.
and
He's one of my best friends right now.
That's awesome.
I really appreciate that, because I know there's some people that stay with you a
Right.
lifetime.
Yeah,
You know.
and it will even last beyond, because yesterday evening I was going through a box at my house, and it was a big box, deep, and I opened it up. I hadn't looked at it in a while, and there were all of these books on art,
Oh, wow.
all of these art supplies, just tons of very expensive stuff. And where did it come from? I'll tell you where it came from. My late mentor, the very great Theodore E. Wells the first. When he passed away back in 1998, and this is the man who took me under his wing and inspired me to become an artist. When he passed away, his family gave me all
his stuff.
of his art supplies that he had accumulated from the beginning of his career in the 40s. You know, he was a World War II veteran, but going back to, I have a bag with his initials engraved on it. That's the bag that he carried along. And then this was powerful. When I first got the first batch of stuff several years ago, I was looking at his paint kit. And these were the personal paints that he used, his palette. And there was a note in there. And it was a shopping list. And it said, "Get for Mike Riley."
Oh, my goodness.
And it was the list of the artist colors that he was going to go and buy for me. That was when I was a student at the
Oh,
Art
my
Institute of
goodness.
Philadelphia. So yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
people sow into your life,
Yeah, that's
and it's
amazing.
so important, and it will make a difference.
It
Isn't
makes
that
a
an
difference.
awesome story?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.